The American dream is dead, supposedly, and only 20% of people in Gen Z are saving for retirement. Today, I read an article on Yahoo Finance, put out by Fortune, and written by Oriana Ross Royal, titled, "The Exact Multi-Million-Dollar Figure the American Dream Now Costs, According to Research." The author of this article referenced Investopedia, who calculated that achieving the American dream, consisting of a house in the suburbs, 2 children, and a cabriolet to drive, will cost a staggering $4.4 million, over $1 million more than most Americans will make in their lifetime. The author went on to indicate the top 10% of U.S. households have a median net worth of about $3.8 million, which is according to the Federal Survey of Consumer Finances for 2022. Here are my thoughts. I'm not sure why people think the American dream is a house in the suburbs with 2 children and a cabriolet in the driveway. Some people wouldn't be caught dead living in the suburbs. There are people who love the city and want to have the option to walk everywhere, as opposed to spending 10 minutes just to drive out of a subdivision and then having to deal with multiple stoplights to even get to a main road. Then there are others who would prefer to live in the country, where they can have a fire pit, animals, and a huge garden. Some people may want 2 kids, while others have zero interest in having children because it impacts their freedom. In terms of a cabriolet to drive, I'm not sure why the author selected that word. It is a French word for a convertible. I have zero interest in owning a convertible. Some aren't as safe. Even for those that are safe, they often have a lot of moving parts that may need to be serviced over time. There are some areas in America where you wouldn't want to drive a convertible. You could approach a stoplight and someone could easily carjack you when the top is down. I just have zero interest in owning a convertible or a cabriolet, according to the author. When I read this story, it really shocked me that the American dream now costs $4.4 million. At least according to the research referenced in this article. If you started working at age 20 and worked until age 70 and didn't have to pay taxes on anything that you earned, which of course is not realistic, you'd have to earn $88,000 per year every single year to be able to save $4.4 million. And how are you going to afford life? It's not feasible for someone to save every dollar they make. Now, it would be less than that if you invested a lot of the money earned and you had benefited from compound returns. But in America today, many people don't have any money left over after paying their bills. That's just the reality in our country for countless working class people. You can still have a nice life in America, though, without ever earning $4.4 million. A lot will depend on decisions that you make in life and your expectations. Getting back to the article, the author said the top 10% of U.S. households have a median net worth of about $3.8 million. The author went on to say, the American dream may be out of reach for the average single person, but it is not out of reach for a dual-income household. The author broke down the cost of the American dream, which consisted of $1,599,995 for retirement, a home worth $929,955, raising 2 children plus college at $832,172, owning a new car, $811,440. I'm guessing that is multiple cars over a lifetime and also figuring in depreciation, insurance, maintenance, fuel, etc. Yearly vacations at $179,109. A wedding at $44,300, pets at $36,626. When I read this one, I had to wonder what kind of pets we are talking about. I once went to a pet store and looked at puppies. They wouldn't tell me the price until after I had sat down and looked at the dogs. Someone came over with an iPad and broke down the costs, which totaled over $5,000. That included pet insurance, though. Then you have veterinary bills and grooming, along with food and supplies. Some people buy fancy things like clothes for their dogs or bark collars. Even with all that factored in, $36,626 seems like a lot to me. Last on the list was a funeral at $8,453, which seemed incredibly low to me. The total came out to $4,442,050. This is according to the author. There are some things the author left off the list, like assisted living later in life, which is incredibly expensive. The author went on to say, "The American dream is dead because it costs much more than the average person will earn over a lifetime. The majority of people feel it is completely out of reach." Well, my friends, I think the American dream as the author defined it may be out of reach for many people, but it could still be accomplished depending on how bad you want it. It may involve a lot of sacrifice and a lot of hard work and some real luck. Even then, it won't happen for everyone, depending on what they do for a living. Some people start with nothing also. I had a conversation with my accountant once. He and I started with very little, and we had a more difficult time building wealth during our lives. He was discussing a mutual acquaintance that we both know. This individual was given a lot of seed money early in life. He was able to invest that money wisely into a real estate portfolio and a business. His wealth grew at a staggering rate, and he is far wealthier than we are. Now, I have a friend who came to America with nothing and started working as a dishwasher. He now has a successful business, and he has a very high net worth. Anything is possible in America, but it won't work out for everyone so well. Even calculated risks are still risks. Some people get it right, and others crash and burn. Now, I read some of the comments beneath this article. I'll share some of them with you. The first commenter seemed like someone who was being sarcastic, but then again, maybe he isn't. He said, "Those costs don't include tattoos, meth, and online gambling, so in no way representative of the American dream." The next commenter said, "I would agree that the American dream is dead if it includes spending $929,000 on a house. Where did that number come from? Not everyone can afford a nice house in Hawaii." Here are my thoughts. In some parts of America, $929,000 buys you a small house in the suburbs that was made very cheaply. The next comment came from someone who said, "This article is ridiculous. First, with the numbers, it makes it look like you need all that cash over a lifetime. People make payments, new cars, buy used cars with low miles, vacation every year. Most can live with a vacation every 2 years and take time off to hang around your local area." Well, here are my thoughts. I agree people could buy used cars, but nowadays many are incredibly overpriced. I agree with foregoing vacations for staycations. I'm curious, what do you think about all this? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. Now, this next article is very interesting. I read this on foxbusiness.com, written by Breck Dumas, titled, "A Growing Share of Gen Z Adults Don't Think They'll Retire. Only 20% Are Saving for It." According to the author, Gen Z is the youngest generation of adults today, but with many struggling to make ends meet. A growing proportion say they do not expect to retire, and few are socking away money to do so. Here are my thoughts. This came from a survey, and the results may not be completely representative of what is happening in America with people in Generation Z. With that said, I do believe it is going to be more difficult for some people in Generation Z to save for retirement when compared to other generations. I'm sure some won't be able to save much, but they might still be okay. There are a lot of people who will inherit wealth. I know people who aren't worried about retirement at all because they know they will be inheriting millions of dollars. I know a guy who has hardly worked his entire life. His mother gives him an allowance as an adult. He doesn't see a point in working or saving because he knows he will get all of her wealth as a single child when she passes away. Unfortunately, not everyone in our country is that lucky. Many people will need to keep working until they pass away because they won't be able to survive on Social Security without any savings. That's the grim reality for countless people here in America. What do you think about all this? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing to the channel. I want to extend a special thanks to everyone who has subscribed to this channel. I want to also thank all of my channel members. If you would like to become a channel member, there is a link in the description beneath this video. You can read more about the different membership levels. Please also check out some of the great books that I suggest you consider reading in the description below. I've included Amazon affiliate links to these books. As an Amazon associate, I earn from qualifying purchases. Stay healthy and wealthy. I'll see everyone in the next video.